We're digging some holes today. There shouldn't be roots that deep. Oh my gosh. Okay. There is no room for error. We've rented an excavator and they charge by the hour. So every minute that this machine is not running is running up our bill. So we have to work as quickly as possible. We're putting a lot of faith in our plans that they're gonna get approved because we have to start digging before the ground is frozen. What a cut! There's about 10 footings that we have to dig to support this additional weight and support the new deck. We marked everything out ahead of time because we've got one day to do this. Look at the size of that rock. Oh my gosh. Oh no! That is where we think our electricity line is running underground, so we're watching it with a close eye. There shouldn't be roots that deep, so anything that might look like a root, I have to yell, stop! So this hole was good, no wires. Parker put it in turtle mode, and I stood right over it, and you can see there is some caution tape. So that wire coming from underneath the house, it's coming right here. So now we got to
close that by hand. So we'll shovel it by hand. We'll probably just move the pad over 6 inches.
Yeah, because it's right on the edge, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a big one. We didn't know it yet, but this was just the start. The ground is filled with boulders, which is why digging the foundation holes by hand wasn't an option. Still won't fix the weeds. Oh! Okay. Once we figured out where the power lines ran underground, I had to carefully expose them by hand so we didn't damage anything, while Parker moved on to the next hole. That is the wire, and we are on the edge. We were ready to go back to the hole with the power lines. The excavator had to move extra slowly, one rock falling on those lines, and we'd be without electricity. There are 3 more foundation holes, 1 here and 2 in the crawl space that the excavator couldn't reach. That meant we had no choice but to dig them by hand. So Parker and I pulled up a chair and took turns all afternoon slowly working through this hole until we hit a boulder. We're jumping ahead in the week here to close out this foundation work. The excavator's gone, okay? But thank goodness for the good old quad and winch. This thing has saved us so many times. And besides that, we were just manhandling these rocks. This hole wasn't too bad. It was doable. But honestly, I would not wish digging a hole on my worst nightmare. I was ready to call it quits. But then we finally got there. We got to the bottom, 3 feet down. We did it! So that's what the form looks like. Make it out of plywood. That's going to hold the concrete. Eventually that wood's going to come out, right?
Yes. So that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other thing, not for this video. Those sauna tubes are going to go right in the middle with rebar. I'm going to pour concrete in. It's going to be the new footer.
New floater.
This is a 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot hole, and we've officially dug all 8 of them. If we had to hire an excavator operator, each hole would have been hundreds of dollars. So we are saving thousands by doing this ourselves. Oh. Okay. We also rented this on the same day where the septic man is going to come. We have to see what type of soil we're working with so we can determine where we can put our second septic system. Our current septic system is only big enough for 2 bedrooms, and eventually when next year we hopefully start building our actual house, we're going to need either a bigger septic or a second one. We decided to extend our excavator rental another day because we had already paid for the shipping, so it didn't cost that much extra. Plus, a hot tip, they either take Saturday and Sunday or just the Sunday off. So if you have it Saturday, you'll typically store it for them Sunday and then they'll come get it Mondays. So we're getting it for 3 days, but only paying for the 2 days. Today's project, we're gonna do a bunch of different things. I actually haven't introduced you guys to this front area by the sea can. Right now, it's super chaotic over here, and this is some of our only flat ground that we'll probably be doing most of our workshop and building for the house. So in order to free up some space, on the other side of the sea can, right here used to be the old green fence, and what Parker has done, he built a new one. The same cedar tree that built our floating shelves inside the cabin, he stripped down, and this fence was basically free, except for the stain. So we still have to finish it. But today's project is going to be leveling this ground, and we're gonna use the boulders from yesterday's dig to build a retaining wall so the sea can doesn't fall. Even with an excavator, building on a hill is 10 times harder than building on flat ground. So it's never a dull moment around here. Our power lines are right over there, so I have to spot to make sure the claw doesn't hit them. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Leveling the ground is just the first step. We also need to remove all the roots and organic matter to improve drainage before compressing the soil and eventually adding gravel so it doesn't turn into a huge mud pit. So we moved as many rocks as we need. We chinked the gaps, and there's only one thing left to say. That sea can's not going anywhere. Oh, you did it! So these two trees in the middle, one is a giant larch, and our hydro lines are here, so it's too risky to fall. But this one might just be short enough. Consequences are really high if it wants to fall the other way. Because of these branches, it might hit the tree beside it and want to fall backwards and knock over our power lines. But Parker is pretty good at cutting trees. I have all the faith in you, but we're also taking extra safety precautions and rigging a rope. I'm gonna stand over there and hold it.
Pull your absolute heart out.
Really?
It'll pull that way, but you're pulling that way, so you're out of the way. The sirens.
We're getting pretty good at clearing trees in no time. This ATV utility trailer has paid for itself 100 times over, and we've only had it for like 3 days.
Hero, you're gonna get smooshed. Oh. That's kind of where I want it.
Now that the tree's out, he's working on getting the stump out. So we are going to reclaim this space. In my opinion, I think this turned out amazing. We've essentially doubled our storage space. So we can have hobby toys on this side, our bikes, our canoes, room to grow. And on the other side is where we can have an outdoor workshop. We also plan to eventually put concrete footings under the sea can, but an even short-term goal is to continue this fence. Either way, we were running out of flat space to store things and we have something to grow into now. With the help of Parker, we turned this unusable hill into a functional space. Okay, on to the next project. We've got the best wagon in the world, the ATV hitch. I'm gonna save some of these flat rocks so we can use it as a walkway, but this whole pathway is getting widened because eventually our small cabin is there. We need a road up to our future house. It doesn't really need to get done right now, but we have the excavator, so we might as well be able to get our truck up here and see if this is even a good spot for a future house. So let's do it. You want me to get that? We still need to bring in a ground compressor and move the dirt pile, but widening the access path is the first step in our new roadmap, and it's really starting to make this property feel like ours. So with building this road, there was a ton of stumps and wood, and there was 2 trees in the middle here, so we made a burn pile. This is where the goat pen used to be, if you know, you know. And we just dumped all of the branches, but we cannot put it on our burn pile because it's way too big. So everything else we're gonna need like a second and a third burn pile. Do you guys remember when I made this pathway? Well, it's going to lead to the road, and this tree is making it not wide enough, so we have to do something about it. This was the most stubborn stump. This tree was already dead when we got here. It was already cut like that. We didn't take it down. No birds were living in it. So it had to go, but it really didn't want to. We did it! Oh my gosh. Look at that taproot. I can take zero credit for the work Parker did up here to clear out our future sauna space. Wow. Oh my God. This is what it looked like before. The previous owners cut down a bunch of trees over here, so it was already cleared. And this is what it looked like after. So it's a flat, usable space. It's not beautiful yet, but it will be. This is amazing. Okay, so ignore this. These are all the stumps and roots that were here. We're gonna turn some of it into firewood and burn the rest. It's pretty much just logs, debris. But what we plan to do, we're gonna have some downtime in between finishing our tiny cabin this winter and then starting the future house. So one of the projects we wanna do is build a deck here, build a really fun sauna, and maybe a wood burning hot tub. Eventually, much farther down the line, we'll have a bridge that connects the house to this little spa area. I'm gonna catch you up on the roof work we did about 2 weeks ago. Foundation and roofing is a bit of an oxymoron in one video. There's 3 main benefits to having a metal roof out here. One is because of the forest fires. If sparks hit it, it will just reflect off. Number 2, it retains heat. The sun reflects off of it. It keeps your house cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter. It's also very durable and long lasting. And a bonus one is it's the cleanest for water procurement, in my opinion, as opposed to asphalt roof. you can collect water from the gutters and have them drop into a bucket, use that for gardening. So we're sticking with the metal roofing that's already here, reusing those materials. We just need to create more airflow. We're doing roofing today. This is the roof of the cabin, this is the roof of the porch, and since we're enclosing the porch, we need ventilation because right now the roof works as a porch, but once it's enclosed, heat will come from the cabin and there's not enough airflow underneath the roof. So if it's cold outside and hot inside, that's going to cause moisture and cause mold. So we have to add spacing. We're taking off this entire metal roof. We're going to add plywood and extra strapping and put it all back on. And I've never been on a roof before. I hate this. I don't like this. Can I dig a hole under the house again?
Yeah, you can.
I think I'm afraid of heights. How many times have you been on a roof?
More times than I'd like to think about. Yeah, the first time I was on a roof, I think I was like 8 years old. One of the neighborhood kids, his bedroom.
Oh yeah, when you'd go out the bedroom window onto the roof?
Exactly.
But it wasn't tin, right?
No, it was shingles.
Shingles.
Yeah.
Okay, I've decided I'm gonna go cut strapping. Roofing was not made for me. So roof is coming off on the porch, and we're gonna keep it on the house so that we don't have to bring it down the ladder. You guys. Oh! So right now there's strapping going across and Parker is adding all of the strapping going up. And we need that double brace because we're putting plywood up there.
So we're doubling it up so that once our insulation is hitting the bottom, there's this air gap so that air can flow over the top so that no condensation or moisture builds up.
Measure twice, cut once. Not the most straight piece. All of the plywood has been screwed down and we've got our roof back, and now this membrane is getting laid over it, and it has these little bullseye targets, and we're using basically a staple gun. What's it called?
Hammer tacker.
A hammer tacker. There you go. You just aim for the target. Oh, you would not want to staple your thumb accidentally. The metal is going back on. We didn't reuse the bolts because of the rubber gasket. After it sticks there, it doesn't come off too nice, and that's the waterproofing part. So there's vents here for the main cabin, and we had to cut the roof a little bit so that we can get venting situated under here so that you can have a flow from outside air, and then the air that's trapped inside has a way out. Working up here on this roof, there is no room for error. If you were to step on the wrong panel and it wasn't screwed down, you're sliding off this roof. This cabin episode was chaotic, but cross your fingers that we get the green light to actually start building the wall soon because it is getting cold. Okay, we will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye!